Okay, well, I just talked to Detective Townley for the Caddo Sheriff's Narcotics Department. He doesn't know Charles. He said if he was an informant, he couldn't tell me that because that's confidential. But he'd never heard of him. And, I told him everything, that I have to say and know about. And, what's happening to me and Jake, the stuff with Charles and Darlene. And he told me just to move. I said, yeah, I've had to move over and over again. This stuff won't stop. And then I thought that these were just civilians being used to record me and Jake, and then a cop was just listening to the tape. And he said that he's narcotics. I told him about the kids smoking pot in public places. He told me to call SPD. Well, hell, they're snitches for the police, so what the hell am I supposed to do? Then, you know, he said it's not his case. We're, in the city limits, and I gave him our address. So if Charles is an informant for the sheriff's department, he's not going to tell me when he talks to me. Officer Tommy won't, but I told him I'm being followed by drones everywhere, and there looks appear to me to be falsifying evidence. I said, he was like, well, you have an attorney? I was like, well, this is criminal. These are criminal behaviors, Falsifying a case and falsifying evidence is a crime. He told me to call the Shreveport police and ask to speak to a detective. Criminal investigation. Okay, I told him I'd been thrown out of the police station, going in and reporting this stuff, so um, I went in to report file trespassing charges, and when to report being surveilled in our house and on East Boulevard Street, and they threw me and told them that we were being followed around by drones. And they threw me out of the police station and said, lady, you're talking about planes following you around. And they threw me out of the police station. And I told him it was talking to. Charles sent me a text message, and said, this is not your house. I will come and go as a police. I sent him a text message back and said, it's not your house either. You do not have my permission to enter. I just had a chat with the sheriff about you. Who do you think you're kidding? And Officer Townley told me, I would move if I was you. Like, yeah, really, no kidding. I've moved over and over again because this happens to me every place I live. Or suction got popping in the walls, Uh, people, they're harassing us, lying and saying I'm home all day when I've been gone. And standing outside our door waiting for the second that I walk out and standing there. So, and it has to do with some kind of cell phone thing. And I asked him, well, could a detective, or is it the DA's office that's doing this? He said, no, they just prosecute crimes. And I said, well, do they detectives use civilians to surveil people and then just listen to the tapes and document what they hear? And he told me that Charles wasn't a cop. And whoever he is, he's not a cop. So that's what it was. And I told that Officer Townley, that he'd assisted the sheriff's department in some arrests in some local bars. That Darling said he worked for the sheriff's department, or used to. He told me that he could get a job at any law enforcement agency in town by the end of the week. And he said, and then Officer Townley said, no, he's on disability. No, he couldn't. I told him also that he was working in construction, flipping houses, getting paid under the table while he's collecting disability also. So I guess Charles might be wondering now, what is it exactly that I know about him? And what did the sheriff have to say? He didn't send me a text message asking me that, but I pulled the blinds up all the way in the two front windows in our room. In case something happens, there's a CPS detective that lives across the street. She used to be a police officer, so she's probably got a gun. So if something did happen, she'd be able to take action if she was home. Although she'd probably be inclined to call for backup first. But she'd probably, if she saw an assault and battery, if she was a street cop, then she knows what to do. If Charles came into her room to injure me and Jake is scared. He wants, every night wants the door barricaded and is afraid to go to the bathroom to pee. Because of Charles and Darlene playing games in the hallway. And Detective Townley also told me that maybe Charles might be a pervert. I'm going to see if I can get a license to carry a weapon. And I'm going to have to buy one, I guess, and learn how to shoot it. And sometimes that can be a deterrent to people. The reason I say that is because there was a shopping center where I had a hair barber shop in it back in when Jake was little, and all the stores in the little shopping center were robbed except for the barber shop, and the guy who owned the barber shop that was always there was a retired Master Chief fireman from the Navy, and he wore a gun on his hip, and he wasn't afraid to use